All right, and welcome once again, All Takes Ballot, episode 12. As always, I'm Trill Trayy. We have Spence, our SP21, and my boy Vick.
Hang on a second, let me catch this. Ah!
So, Vic, go ahead and give him the rundown for today's show.
All right, so the rundowns of the Week 10 recap. A lot of craziness went down. We will be giving our breakdowns on each game, followed by our updated power rankings. It's going to be interesting to see where some teams have fallen, risen, and etc. So after that, we have the COVID and injury update for week from this past week 10, which is week 11 now. And then we will talk about the NBA free agency, followed by Thursday night football, Seahawks versus Arizona Cardinals, rematch of the NFC West.
Yes.
Just a reminder to all the fans watching this video, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate y'all. All the feedback. It's been very helpful in helping this channel grow.
Yes.
And we'll continue to provide great content as this channel continues to move forward. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and start with the recap of the Week 10 NFL season. Texans beat the Texans, lost to the Browns. We had the Packers barely edge out the Jags. The Philadelphia Eagles lost to the Giants.
I should have picked the run. I knew he was going to redeem himself. Something told me, but I'm like, nah, he can't do it. As soon as it happened, I said, they're going to win. They're going to win. They're going to win because that was the revenge play. They're going to win. And sure enough, I'm telling you, I'm picking my gut.
Yeah, sometimes those are the best bets to make is sticking with your gut.
That was the storyline.
That was a storyline.
That was the storyline because remember I said the slide kick, and I'm like, that doesn't make the storyline. Something had to make some more storyline. That makes sense. I'm like, all
right. We have the Bucks. They beat the Carolina Panthers. Then we have the
way more than a kick.
Yeah, by more than a kick, which is what
way more.
Someone had predicted.
Yeah, like I said, I had storylines. It was just the wrong one.
Detroit edged out the football team.
Oh, Joe.
That was closer than I thought. It was a blowout at first.
Hey Vic, what happened?
Hey, we'll talk more in depth about that one. Okay. The Cards,
as you can see in his background there, crazy ending there.
Jump man, yeah, that's him.
Kyle Murray had the best caption for this. Yeah, the best caption for it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Cards beat the Buffalo Bills. The Broncos lost to the Las Vegas Raiders. We have the Miami Dolphins over here, doing their thing against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Hands up.
Yep.
Next three looking easy.
Pittsburgh did their thing against Cincy, which we all expected and predicted. 49ers.
You had to upset. You said
it. 49ers lost to the Saints. The Rams pretty much took out to the backyard against the Rams.
Who? No, the Rams. The Rams beat who?
He was saying the Seahawks.
Rams beat the Seahawks.
Yeah, took it to the Outback. Rams took Seahawks Outback.
And then the Vikings beat the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, yeah. Told you to go with the hot team.
So
The hot team.
Vic, Vic, what happened?
What happened with what? What happened?
Because Trey, last time I checked, Vic, you picked the Bears.
Actually, yes, I did pick the Bears.
Exactly.
No, that's not what we're overlooking here. What we're overlooking is I think there's one game that
no. We're just
forgot to mention.
No. Trey, you don't have to say that because this is what we're segmenting to right now. So what happened, Vic? Because looks like Superman still got his powers, and yours look like you're looking for his.
Are y'all saying something?
You can't hear us. Oh,
Yeah.
you can hear us perfectly fine. And check it out. If you can't hear us, they can. So, Vic, what happened to that game?
The New England Patriots defeat the Baltimore Ravens in a rainy showdown. You know, I mean, wow. I guess you could blame weather if you want to blame that.
You can, but can we? Because the weather was tolerable all the way but a minute and 15. Game pretty much over by then.
Yeah.
Well,
you let a wide receiver throw a touchdown on y'all.
Well, he was a quarterback. They converted him.
At one point. He was. But y'all still let it happen.
See, I think they did on that particular play. I don't think they were like, oh, whatever. Like they didn't expect the ball to come out the way it did. Like he threw it like a quarterback. Like he didn't throw it like a receiver.
A wide receiver.
But usually when they have those trick plays, like New England's done it in the past with Edelman. Like it's usually someone with a quarterback background. Pittsburgh, we used to do it with Randall L. He was a quarterback. So you know what I'm saying? Like you're not just gonna have anybody throw the ball. There's a reason that they did that. And
they are throwing that ball, right?
Well, yeah. To be honest, I didn't watch probably much of the game. The last part that I saw was towards the end, the fourth quarter. I had a long day. And I fell asleep. But yeah. I had to watch the highlights and stuff like that of the game, and you know, as Spence said earlier about the whole weather, I'm not gonna say it's the weather because both teams had to deal with it. I did notice that there was there was plenty of bad snaps, but I'll probably say there was 3 at the top that I remember, and they were by Patrick McCurry. Which, you know, caused some very, you know, bad situations, especially that last drive where they went from, what was it? It would have been like, you know, maybe a 2nd and 10 if it would have been an incomplete pass compared to where it went to 2nd and 22.
Yeah, it lost like 15 yards.
But either way, the last 2 drives that I saw, it was kind of like ironic how like it seemed like it rained hard every time the Ravens got on the field. But when the Patriots were on the field, it was straight. It was manageable. So I was just like, man, you know, Mother Nature's against us too. But, you know, for the most part, my assessment of this game, for those that are going to try to put this on Lamar was not the problem in this game at all. He did have 2 passes that I can recall. One was a forced pass to Hollywood that he shouldn't have thrown, which was his one and only interception of the day. And there was another one that was on that same drive, I believe, or was a drive before, where he shouldn't have thrown that ball. It was like a dig route to Hollywood. It should have been picked off, but thankfully the safety had dropped it. So I mean, for the most part, you know, this probably, you know, and probably his best game of this season, passing wise. It was 24 to 34. 249, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Didn't have the best game on ground. He averaged 5 yards per carry, but considering all that, the two things I got to say is one, the injury obviously to Calais Campbell the previous week. Obviously, that showed its face. Brandon Williams getting injured in this past game against the Patriots also did not help at all. So as you've seen, the Patriots were gashing us. Usually, we're the ones that's doing that kind of damage to the other team. It was the other way around this time around. It just, bad snaps with the center, which is not the first week because we also had bad snaps against the Colts last week. We also had bad snaps against the Steelers the previous week. So it's just like they got to figure out something. And I want to say I liked the play calling a little bit better than previous weeks, but I also want to state that with the conditions that we had, like it made no sense as to why they were continually snapping the ball in shotgun formation. Why not go under center? It's just that stuff that coaches should be like, hey, we got to get out of shotgun. We have to do this. Or switch the center to somebody else. I don't know who they could possibly go to because it's not very deep at that position. But just, again, from my assessment, I think they could have been better better coaching adjustments. With that being said, compared to continually just going into the shotgun, because from what everybody sees is they run a lot of their zone reads and stuff like that from the shotgun, which is okay when the weather is cooperating with you, but when it's not, things like that can happen. So I want to partially put some of the blame on the offensive coordinator, which Greg Roman, I think he's going to be on the hot seat, or if he's not already on the hot seat, he should be, just because of the play calling issues and just not utilizing their players correctly, especially with my last point is Mark Ingram returned. Now, all Baltimore fans, we love Mark Ingram. He did great for us last year, but this year he doesn't seem like to be the same player as he was last year. And even if he is still a great player, like the whole timeshare that they got going on where they're using three backs, to me it's ridiculous. Gus had 7 carries for 42 yards, 6 yards per carry. J.K. Dobbins had 5 for 13, 2.6, and Ingram had 5 for 5 yards, a yard per carry. It's just they need to have one bell cow, just like another team that we'll eventually talk about at some point with the Miami Dolphins, how they utilize their running back. They just need to have one running back that's just their bell cow, and have somebody spell them from time to time. But other than that, defense definitely disappointing. But kudos to the Patriots. They deserved and earned that win. Bill Belichick continues to show, even though his team may not have the pieces that he needs, he's still able to put his team in position to win games. So that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I don't have any breakdown. You hit on everything on the head. In the end, I think it came down to weather did play a factor in it, but like you said, you can't use that as like the only excuse because the Patriots had to deal with the weather the same way y'all did. What it sounds like more so, it came down to what you just hit on with Belichick. It came down to coaching.
Yep.
Belichick made the necessary adjustments. You guys didn't, and more or less that's the end result that happened. That was a big win for us. I'll take that because that gives us a 3-game cushion, 3-game lead, which are coming up in 2 weeks. So that'll be good. And it helps New England because they are actually still alive, not only for the playoffs, but they are still alive for the division at this point with that win. So, like I said last show, last week, week 10 was when everything really starts counting. Everything leading to all these games count leading up to it. So, um, as far as with Baltimore, if we beat y'all come Thanksgiving that weekend, I think that pretty much shuts the door on the division and just about shuts the door on any chance you guys would have for first place in the AFC. That's probably already gone there with Kansas City only having one loss. We're having problems right now, even being 9-0, where it's like we drop a game or two, KC is right there. So it's like it's tight right now in the AFC. There's 5, 6, and 3 teams right now in the AFC. Like it's going to be a tight race down the stretch for everybody. All these games count. All these games matter. I'm kind of worried. We'll get into that next show, whatever. But Pittsburgh, we have Jacksonville coming up this weekend. It's one of those same type of trap games. You gotta treat all these games the same. They all count. All these games count going forward.
Yeah, right.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good. You failed me. My team win, Trey team win. You just had to win. You just had to win the game, CJ. That's all you had to do. You had to win the game, CJ.
All right.
You
So
didn't win the game.
Since we're talking a little bit about your team, Trey, let's got a recap on that one for us. For those that didn't see.
Beautiful day in Pittsburgh. Beautiful day. Ben Roethlisberger had an amazing game. I would probably say his best game of the season thus far. It was pretty much what kind of like we all said we expected. Joe Burrow, young rookie quarterback, first time. This is probably the best defense he's played thus far, and it showed. Kudos to him, though. He didn't throw any interceptions. We did sack him 4 times. I said it would be 5. You said it was 3, so it was right in the center. They got to him 4 times. We didn't get that 5th sack like I thought we would. Overall, though, defense did their thing. They were swarming. They had them under pressure pretty much the majority of the game. I think he's learned from this game. Like you can see towards the end of the game where he was kind of picking up some of like the disguises and the zone blitzes that we were running, but by then, the game, it was too late to adjust.
So how did Ben Roethlisberger look? If you were able to watch the game,
I watched the game. Roethlisberger, he looked healthy. There was a lot of talk about he wasn't obviously able to practice due to being on the whole COVID list and everything. Which, by the way, himself never tested positive for COVID. He was just in contact with Vance McDonald, who, had tested positive. So he was put on that protocol. But they're making a big deal about the fact that, he didn't practice all week and what he needed to practice. And Ben even said after the game, he was like, he's trying to talk to Tomlin and see if he could take this week off too. So, I mean, he looked, like I said, this is the best Ben's looked all season, honestly. Like, he looked great.
I thought that Ben Roethlisberger being off with this whole COVID, given on the 5 days, 6 days really, but 5 days, just to relax and get his mind right, mainly his body, because his mind wasn't something that was in question. Right. His body right, especially after having those knee injuries that he suffered in the Dallas game, and his elbow issue, which I don't think that's something that's going to go away, but at least it looks promising that from the stats, and I have a player in my fantasy team, Chase Claypool, so I definitely do not want him to be hurt. So yeah, but regardless, it's good to hear that he's playing well, and that the Steelers did their thing. I think it was 36-10. Yeah, 36-10. That's
400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Chase Claypool, as you stated, he had 2. Deontay Johnson had 1, and Juju had 1.
Yeah.
My only issue with us still which leading into the playoffs, my only concern is
James
the
Conner.
the lack of a run game. Not even James Conner, because
Yeah.
to me they don't give Benny Snell's not getting enough opportunities to see what he can do. Neither has Anthony McFarland. So it's like if James Conner is not producing, give somebody else a chance, because while it's working right now in the regular season and everything, that's cool. We go into 5 wide a lot. Well, with 4 wide receivers and then Eric Ebron, who's having a good year too. And I mean, it's a mismatch for most teams because that's a lot of skilled people to try to cover. But come to playoff time, you have to be able to run the ball at some point. You're going to need to have a run game. Maybe he doesn't have to have 100 yards rushing every single game, but you have to produce something.
Just to keep the defense balanced.
Right, exactly. It's like we are almost exclusively passing. We're an exclusively passing team at this point. And
if that's something
they're going to catch up to us down the stretch, especially if you play a team that can minimize or take away the effectiveness of our passing game, then that's where it becomes an issue when you can't run the ball.
Yep. And Spencer, you got anything?
No, man, just a good win. Just a good win. I saw highlights of that one. I was watching the other game, but I caught highlights in that one. So yeah, good win.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Trey, about the whole run game. I mean, especially lately, as we've all seen, some of these unknown running backs or players that didn't get much of an opportunity elsewhere and went somewhere else and got the opportunity to show their name, which one of them going on to the next team, he plays for the Miami Dolphins. I think his last name is pronounced Ahmad or
Ahmad, yeah.
Yeah, so Miami won against the Los Angeles Chargers, 21-19. 21-29. Spence, you have anything you want to say about this?
So I know it hurts because he played decent other than that pick. I'm talking about Justin Herbert and everything. It was that block, that block kick. I was like, yeah, there it is. Yeah, I said, there it is. That was it. Even though it was early, there it is. That was it. Oh man, good one. He throws a pretty ball, man. He throws a great Tua. He throws a great spiral. He throws amazing spirals. But it was a good game.
Ball in general.
Yeah.
It's some of those.
Yeah.
Like, he continues to amaze me every week. Like, and you can see he's getting he's not putting up the big passing yardage numbers yet. Like he's still getting his feet wet, but you can tell he's getting more confidence week.
With his throws and areas, yeah. But the running game, man, it's who knew? Hopefully we can solidify one, and then because we just let go of Jordan Howard.
Who hadn't done shit. So and I was against the signing to begin with. Vick knows this. When we signed him, I was like, why? I know by his stats wise, and they're really just count like the first 2 years from Chicago kind of makes his average look the way it did. But to me, if you see what he did in Philly after he left Chicago, it wasn't really nothing to write home.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah. I was not sad to see him get cut. Sorry to say that, but he just wasn't producing. You had this guy come in pretty much. I don't even know where he came from, to be honest.
Yeah,
where they picked him up from, but he comes in there, good burst, and
I think he was on your practice squad. He was definitely an undrafted free agent from what I read. Washington, I think it was.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah, but the thing is, when you looked at in the beginning of the year, you still had Balaj was supposed to be on the team. You signed Jordan Howard. You traded for Matt Breida. So it's like you have all these names more or less, like you know who these people are, and none of them could produce anything. Balaj, we couldn't even get a trade for him because he failed a physical, which he actually, in his second opportunity, he's looked pretty good for the Chargers. So guess it worked out for him. But yeah, as far as the backs that Miami had outside of Ahmad, yeah, I still think they're going to have to upgrade that position via either free agency at some point or hopefully through the draft. They have some high draft picks where you can spend on a star caliber running back, which will eliminate any of these issues with inconsistency at the position. But I mean, good win.
What did y'all give away to get Matt Breida? I know it was a draft pick, but I don't know what pick.
It wasn't anything substantial. Maybe it was a later pick. It wasn't anything.
It was like a later pick.
Yeah, it wasn't anything.
I was gonna say that looks like a wasted pick, right? Wasted trade for the Dolphins because I haven't really seen him make too much of an impact at all.
No, sir. We don't make crazy picks.
Gaskins as well too. I forgot. He was getting the share of the carries in the beginning of the season, which he had some okay games. He looked better than Howard or Breida did, but even him, it wasn't like anything special. Where you can tell they need running back. They were kind of being one-dimensional in a sense too because they couldn't run. But you think about it's been Miami's issue for like the last 2 seasons because Fitzpatrick led the Dolphins in rushing the season before. So you just gotta.
Well, I mean, all I can say, I watched portions of it. I know, I forgot what time this game was. Wasn't it a 4:00 game?
Yeah, it was 4:00 game.
There was another game I was watching. I think the Bills and the Cards game I was watching for the most part, but I seen Ahmad, running the rock. I was definitely impressed with his ability. I felt like he gave the offense a little bit more juice compared to Myles Gaskin, which I was speaking with Trey about through a chat. I feel like him and Gaskin can be a good 1-2, at least for this year, because, before it was just, didn't really seem like y'all had much of a running game.
Right. They're 2 different backs, so it's like, it'd be a good change of pace, like you're saying.
But, for those that don't know, Ahmad, he runs a 4.3 in the 40, so he's got
skill.
He's got juice. He's a little small, but he's definitely got juice for the offense. And, as I was saying last week, one of my predictions was that Tua would have 1 less interception than Herbert Breezy. But, obviously he only threw 1, but Tua had 0. So played a clean game. And I also was, I also was talking about how Tua being left-handed presents a different challenge for defenses, and I think it was the first touchdown that they had where it was like a play action run to the left, and he just threw it to the right side of the field, which normally most defenses are expecting play action run to the right and then throwing it to the left side, and I felt like, I mean, that happens, people get open, but I don't know. I feel like, being left-handed presents a different challenge. It's like a different mentality, different thought process as to what you can expect the opposing team to do. Because, for Tua, he's more comfortable doing it from left to right compared to, quarterbacks doing it from right to left. It's easy for them, but doing it from left to right, it's just a different challenge. It's a different problem for defenses to account for as to what they're gonna what side they're gonna go do a play action pass from, and etc. But any games that y'all want to talk about? with the next game, we will be talking about the Bills, the 7-2 Bills. Well, now 7-3 versus the Cards, which are 6-3 now. The Cards won 32-30. Trey, you got something you want to say?
Hey, look.
Ew.
Hey, look. I was right until I wasn't. I was right until I wasn't.
Ew.
I mean, when you lose like that, I mean, can I be mad? I can't blame the Bills for this one. They had them. They had them.
Ew.
But man, I mean, just look at that. Three
That's-
defenders.
That's pretty.
That's a grown man. That's a
That's pretty.
grown man.
That's pretty.
And
Ew.
what's crazy about it is, if you look at it, Kyler, he kind of rolled out real quick, and to me, it didn't look like he really stepped into it. He didn't put much on it. He kind of just let it go.
You threw a cross body.
Yeah, and G Hop just out muscled them boys, out jumped them. You see that's he had them Jordan gloves on, man. You know, I seen some Adidas. I see, I don't know, was that a Nike down there? But no, that jump man.
That jump man. They're gonna take that and spin with it.
So y'all think it was a better throw or catch?
I think it's a better catch.
They go together, because if Kyler,
You're right. If Kyle couldn't make the throw, he couldn't get that catch.
yeah, so it's like I don't know, because you gotta think how many Hail Marys are ever really completed. Like that's like
That's true.
That play doesn't happen like that. So
That's true.
but that's bad defense too, to be honest. Let's be real. That's horrible defense. It's three of y'all. If y'all don't just swat them, like, what are y'all doing? Like, tell me what's happening right here in this picture. What are y'all doing? Explain this.
King, watching greatness happen before their eyes.
If you've seen it in real time, you seen Michael Hyde and Tre'Davious White. They were in position, and then Poyer came out of nowhere. And he was out of position to begin with. He should have been back there as well. But I guess they were trying to account for the crossing routes and stuff like that. And as soon as Kyler had launched that ball, he, hit the ground running, trying to break that pass up. And the fact is again, it's the people that's there. I think his first name is LaMarcus Poyer. Yeah. Michael Hyde and Tre'Davious White, like those three players in itself.
They're their top defenders. They are their top defenders. It's not like these aren't backups. These are Tre'Davious White was like in the running to be.
These are all pros.
Player.
Yeah.
He was in the running to be defensive player of the year last year.
Yeah,
behind Stephon Gilmore. So he can ball. So let's not get that confused. Like, these aren't some scrubs he's catching over. These are starting quality defensive backs in the league, and he big man them. He big man them. There's nothing more to say about.
But they have witnessed like God.
and the thing about it too that's crazy is that sometimes we overlook combine numbers, but with DeAndre Hopkins, you can definitely tell that he used every bit of his 36-inch vert to get over them, because I think Michael Hyde he had a 30. LaMarcus Joyner, I can't see his last name.
Joyner.
No, Poyer.
Poyer.
I believe he had a 34.1 or something like that. Vert, and then surprisingly, Tre'Davious White had a 32, I think a 32.8 for vertical.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that just like having, obviously, for as you said before, like both the catch and the throw were difficult. It was just impressive as is. It's kind of hard to really debate on which one, but I mean, obviously you got to time it in terms of jumping, like knowing when to jump, because if you jump too early, the ball is just going to zoom right over your head. If you jump too soon, I mean, you can probably, if you jump too early, yeah, you have a chance of missing out on catching the ball. If you jump too late, then there's a possibility that the defenders may, break it up or pick it off or whatever the case is, which, you know, it looked like they were all trying to catch the ball, but they all should have
That's
tried to swat it.
that's what I'm saying. What are you doing? If one person wants to go for the pick, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Cool. All y'all don't need to be there. Y'all are all going for the ball.
Now, the
You
only
don't.
one I could probably say is Poyer. He had looked like he was trying to deflect it, but then again, that man D Hop, uh, he practices catching the ball upside down and all kinds of difficult ways to catch the ball. And as we all have known, like
There you go.
It
So you can get a good.
Yeah, Adidas and Nike. Sorry, should have had them Jordans.
You know he's about to have his own shoe, right? You know Jordan's gonna they're about to call him. What? This is perfect. Let's do it. They didn't have a Jordan athlete since Megatron.
Oh, that was nasty. I know a lot of Cowboys probably don't like the fact that you mentioned that. And that was another one. Three defenders with one.
But see, Calvin constantly did that. Like,
yeah,
Calvin constantly
he was known for
catching
that.
over multiple. Not to say that D Hop's not capable.
Yeah.
The only other receiver I think that could have possibly done this is Julio. Julio is the only other receiver that I could see have made that same catch. But I mean,
I agree.
I remember a couple months ago they were debating before the season started. There was this big debate on who was better, DeAndre Hopkins or Michael Thomas, and I thought it was disrespectful that a lot of people were saying Michael Thomas was better, which granted he had a great season last season, stat wise and everything, but you see the respect he gets from his own teammates. They call him Slant Boy. Like he's not. Michael Thomas isn't doing something like that.
Yeah, no,
it's not happening. He does
sometimes in those cases, numbers don't always tell the whole story. And
sometimes it's a combination of the eye test.
Yeah. So
same thing with like numbers, stats don't, sometimes stats can lie. Like no, sorry.
You could probably have a better argument with him and Devontae Adams, but even then I still like Devontae over Michael Thomas. But that's topic for a whole nother story, another day. But
I picked the Bills, and I mean up until what? I don't even know how many seconds was on the clock left in the game.
11 seconds.
Yeah, so 11 seconds, I would have been right. I mean, when they make a miraculous play like that, I mean, you just got to tip your hat to them. I'll take the L on this one for that. Like that, we'll be talking about this for years. Like you will remember that play. So it's like
I'll always remember this because I was the lone wolf to pick the Cards to win.
Listen,
they bailed you out.
Listen. Vick said exactly what Kyle Murray said. Shit, hop out there somewhere and just go it. I get it, man. That was a play, fellas. This was a game, man.
No, it was a good game overall, though, too.
Oh, it was an amazing game overall.
And the saddest thing about it all is like nobody's talking about Stephon Diggs on his potential.
That catch was good too.
And the funny thing about it too, the announcers, I think it was a TV broadcast, but don't quote me on that. But they were saying, when Stephon Diggs caught the touchdown pass, he was like, "Oh, so I guess this obviously ends the debate. Stephon Diggs is better than D Hop." And then D Hop said, "Hold my cup."
I got it.
Hold my beer.
Don't worry, I got it. I got this. That was an amazing catch from I.
He spoke too. That announcer, he spoke too soon. Yeah. Isn't it kind of funny how like when you see Kyler Murray play quarterback, it's kind of like watching somebody in Pop Warner, just like running back there, just like a video
Just
game
look,
type deal.
looking for something. Looking for something.
It's crazy how elusive he is. It doesn't look like it. It's like it's in slow motion, but it's crazy.
I don't know. I feel like he's me personally, I think he might be more elusive than Lamar Jackson. My opinion. I think he may be because I don't know. That boy is smooth. Like he runs and it's not like he's like you don't really see much change in the direction. It's just straight line like the grab and go in Madden. Like
Yeah.
it's all consistent. It don't seem like it stops. He's smooth when he runs.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. He's having an amazing year, and
Mm-hmm.
the fact that he's not being talked about for MVP is kind of crazy to me because
Which
I saw some numbers through the first 8 or 9 games that his season right now is better statistically
Replicating them.
than what Cam and Lamar had. Cam's MVP season and then Lamar's season last year. Numbers wise, he already has more touchdowns. I think he already has 24 touchdowns. They both threw 30, I want to say, in their MVP seasons.
Yeah, you did mention that last podcast, and I went on a limb and said that I believe that Kyler Murray, I think by the end of it, that he should be considered MVP, but I probably didn't say that he'd win MVP. I said that he'd be ahead of Russell Wilson. I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
Yeah.
Right now, it's looking like he may be MVP of the league because Lamar won MVP with his numbers last year, and Kyler Murray's doing what he's doing now, and the team success. I can't see why you won't, vote Kyler Murray as MVP. And think about this: Patrick Mahomes won his MVP win, second year in the NFL. Lamar Jackson won his MVP, second year in the NFL. Kyler Murray, it's his second season. Could that be a trend?
Hey, I mean, if the play continues, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of season left still. But if he keeps at this pace, I can't see why. Because the difference for me, I don't know what everybody factors into MVP, and this is a different topic, but we can have this discussion different day. But just real quick, it's like I don't know what other people factor into it because while Mahomes is having a great season, while Aaron Rodgers is having a great season, it's kind of like you've seen it before, if that makes sense. And I don't mean to fault them for that because they're having great years, but it's just like, in a sense, if you look at the Cardinals, even last year when Kyler wasn't necessarily playing to this level, it's night and day. You've seen when Mahomes, he missed a game or two last season, and they still were able to continue moving forward. Like, I think at this point, without Mahomes, the Chiefs would still win games. Like, maybe it won't be to the caliber it is with Mahomes doing it, but I mean, you got to think when Alex Smith was there, they were still a very capable team. They're still a playoff team. So it's like Mahomes took them to that next level, but it's like if you take Kyler Murray off the Cardinals right now, are they doing any of this?
Yeah, I could say the same thing. I mean, I don't believe they'll be even in contention to be a playoff team or to be in the position that they are. Same thing with the Ravens. I mean, even though the Ravens are 6-3, the Ravens without Lamar, they wouldn't be anything. Kyler Murray the Cards without Kyler Murray, they wouldn't be anything. Seahawks without Russell Wilson, I don't think they'll be anything. So yeah, with Patrick Mahomes, yeah, they would still be just fine even without him. It does change up the offense, but they got Andy Reid and Eric the Enemy as the OC. So, well, anybody else have anything to say about that game? Or all right, I guess the last two games. Do y'all want to talk about the Giants and the Eagles? They won. The Giants beat the Eagles 27-17, which we all picked the Philadelphia Eagles to win that one.
We did, but not even that. The Eagles are still leading the division for now.
And I know we all said that.
That's the crazy part. That's the crazy part. They're still leading.
Yeah, and we all said that we all believe that the Eagles are going to win this division. Right now, honestly, I don't know. I honestly, like, I feel like even if I say the Giants are going to win the division, like,
They might have a chance.
They're
will
all
I be
still
wrong for
alive.
saying that?
You can't.
They're
The
all
Cowboys.
alive.
The
They're
Cowboys
all alive.
You can't really. Yeah, I'm taking my hat out of the races. I can't pick a winner. I don't. At this point, I don't even care. Like this is horrible. And then looking at the Eagles next few weeks coming up, the likeliness of them winning the division gets that much more.
Very slim.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants do take it by default because they're in second right now. So, but who at this point, who knows?
Man,
I really see them making history. They're gonna send like a 6-10, or well, it won't be 6-10 because two teams have a tie. Or the Eagles have a tie, right? So
yeah, Eagle has a tie.
Yeah. I don't have anything to say about this game. No.
Yeah, the Eagles the next 5 games they have Eagles against the Browns, Eagles against the Seahawks, Eagles against the Packers, Eagles against the Saints, Eagles against the Cardinals, and then they have a divisional game against the Cowboys.
So they realistically could lose all 5 of those games. The Browns is the closest game I see that they might be able to take.
Yeah,
they might pull out
just because of the D line and their front 7. They can possibly slow down Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, but outside of that, it all depends on Baker Mayfield on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Baker can give them the game.
Yeah, so
but
that's a game
outside of that, even with Seattle playing as bad as they have been on defense,
Russell ain't gonna give up.
I can't see them losing to Philly. They're not beating the Cardinals. They're hot right now.
Yeah.
Green Bay, they played tight with Jacksonville, but Aaron Rodgers is gonna dot them up. Yeah.
All right. The last game that I know I want to talk about, just so I got to mention it. The Bucks beat the Carolina Panthers 46-23. So this is the only game this year so far that the Panthers didn't. They've been known to lose games
every game. Yeah.
Yeah. Win or lose games, being down or up within 7 to 10 points. The Bucks clearly demolished them after last week. Spence, the Chiefs barely beat the Panthers 33-31. So I mean, it's bound to happen, but I was definitely impressed with how the Bucks were able to rebound and kind of get things together. Obviously, Rojo almost hitting that 200-yard mark, rushing in total offense. And defense, it's a little suspicious right now. Like they don't seem to be playing with that same, intensity that they had before. But they did make some adjustments second half, and I don't know. I feel like they're kind of going more soft coverage against a lot of teams. Maybe they're trying to, ease up for because I had to talk with them about them playing the Chiefs a few weeks from now. So they got to come through for me. So maybe they're just trying to make it look like things sweet over here in Tampa. But yeah, they got any takes on that?
No, not a deep dive really. Christian McCaffrey being out definitely was a difference maker. I know you said that the Bucks pretty much have his number when they play, but
Yeah.
Still not having him definitely changes a lot of what they do on offense, especially just him being able to catch out of the backfield. Um, though it was later in the game, Teddy Bridgewater going out of the game, getting hurt, that changed everything too.
Yeah.
PJ Walker, he was great in the XFL, but it's a little different coming back to the NFL. Um, Solid game overall. The offense looked pretty good. It looked in sync.
Yeah.
They got AB involved. I believe he had 5 catches at least.
Ooh.
Should have had a touchdown.
Yeah.
Brady just kind of barely missed by a little bit.
Yeah.
I have that connection on my fantasy team, even though I didn't play AB this week. This was kind of like, because I started him the first week and I was like, yeah, let me fill this out and see the next couple weeks how involved he's actually going to be. But it looks like Brady did a good job of distributing. Like Evans got his, Godwin got his, AB got his look. So it looks like this offense could be what we imagined it to be once they made the AB signing. Rojo, to me, I think I won't say he's the better bet, but for the style of play, I mean, Fournette's a good change of pace, but
man.
I think you keep riding with Ronald Jones. I know people are down on him after the Saints game. He had a fumble and everything, but it's just like he's young back. You gotta take the good with the bad sometimes. But what was that? A 99-yard run, 98-yard run? That was
98.
crazy.
Yeah.
Stuff like that you can't teach. It's just like,
yeah. I thought for a second he was gonna get hawked down, but he was he was looking at that jumbotron and keep an eye out on where he was. I felt like he let off on the gas a little bit, but clearly, he still was faster than the other forgot his name, the safety number 21. But man, I had posted a status the other day about that, but going back to Leonard Fournette, and I feel like he a little slow. Like, I don't know, like, you see Rojo get the ball and he got that juice, but when Leonard Fournette, I feel like he got them tippy toes. Like he's just, I don't know, he's indecisive about what he wants to do with the rock. And
he's a good change of pace though, because they're two different type of backs. That's what I was.
Yeah, that's a power back.
Yeah, so he's more so. Me personally, I use him more so in goal line situations, things like that.
But didn't he run like a 4.4 in a 40?
I mean, yeah,
but he also got injured.
Not slow, but
it just don't look like he's that fast by the way that he be running. Like, I don't know. I mean, I like Fournette. I like him as a change of pace back. So I'm not trying to.
I mean, I wasn't too high on him in Jacksonville, really, honestly. I mean, he had a couple good seasons, specifically the AFC Championship season where they was that 3 years ago now, when they were in the AFC title game. He gassed my Steelers up pretty good in the playoffs that year. Yeah. But overall, if you look at his career in Jacksonville, I don't think he has ever lived up to his draft stock yet still, to be honest.
I don't think so. It's been close.
I mean, he's no Todd Gurley.
Yeah. Right now, some people can debate that he might be better than Todd Gurley, especially health-wise. But then again,
health. If you factor in health, but before Gurley's knees started going on him, it wasn't even close. Yeah.
All right,
Spence.
I know every Buck fan is like, where was this? what was this? where was this? Like, no, because like, where was this? Because we had to see this. Yeah, you remember that. But anyways, this was a good win for the Bucks. This I know, and he ate another one too. Anyways, I know, but no, this is a good win. This is where this needs to go, or the right track. Everybody's getting touches. Everybody's sinking. The ball is getting passed. It's getting moved. Just keep moving. Because, man, the Saints had y'all numbers. It just stops. But this is a good win. This is especially in your division, helps the division wins. You need to be number one. So
they'll have a chance at that. Actually, maybe, possibly, they might have a chance to catch them coming up here soon.
Yeah.
Right.
Once we talk about injuries here coming up. So
no.
All right.
But that's all my take on
it. All right. So we're going on to the next topic, which is the power rankings. I'll go ahead and give y'all my top 10 for.
You want to get the NFLs first?
Week 11. If you want to go ahead and read that off, you can.
Sure, I will. The NFL, according to the beautiful Week 11s, the rankings go like this. Number 1 is the Chiefs. Number 2 is the Steelers. Number 3 is the Saints. Number 4 is the Bucks. Number 5 is the Packers. Number 6 is the Ravens. 7 is Bills. 8 Raiders. 9 Cards. And 10 Rams. Gentlemen, yours.
All right. So with mine's, it looks partially familiar to what the NFL's rankings that you presented. I have a few teams up higher than theirs and lower. The Chiefs, number 1, Steelers, number 2, Saints at 3, Bucks at 4. I have somebody that I just put in the top 10 last week, but now it's in my top 5. The Miami Dolphins at number 5.
Get out of here.
The Arizona Cardinals at 6. The Los Angeles Rams at 7. The Baltimore Ravens at 8. The Colts at 9. And the Seattle Seahawks at 10. Those are my rankings. Okay. I had a lot to decipher on that one, but yeah, that was my top 10.
Okay. A little different here. I didn't.
I know I surprised y'all with a few of those.
Yeah. So for me, 1, I got Pittsburgh. 2, I got the Chiefs. 3, I got the Packers. I got the Saints at 4. Bucks round out the top 5. I got Arizona sitting at 6. I got the Colts sitting at 7. I got the Ravens at 8. I got Miami at 9. And then I got Seattle at 10.
Now, real quick, just out of curiosity, you have the Cards higher than the Fins, but the Fins beat the Cards. Just out of curiosity, you still not convinced on them yet?
No, it's not even that. I just think more so, like we're talking about Kyler, the run that he has been on, it's like they've been on a hot streak. Obviously, they did lose to the Dolphins, yes. Yeah. But also, I'd say more so like strength of opponent to me. I factored that in to me. They're in that NFC West, which they're in a 3-way tie right now, and they're looking like they just might take that division. The Dolphins,
I agree.
The Dolphins, I can definitely see being after the next 3-4 weeks being in the top 5. But as of right now, I kind of still I got to see more from Tua too.
Okay.
I think if I'm looking at the quarterbacks, I as good as Tua is looking, throws amazing ball. I think I see more from Kyler right now.
Okay.
To where I think in the long run, okay, Dolphins make the playoffs. Would the Dolphins win a playoff game necessarily? I don't know. The Cardinals, on the other hand, I think
better chance.
I think they make a deeper run right now than what Miami would. But
yeah, before you go, Spence, just gonna give my reasoning as to why I got the Finns at the position that I have them at, and especially having them above the Cards. Um, the two convincing wins for me that was like, you know what, I got to give the Dolphins respect, more respect than I have, and the Cards too, because I don't believe I had the Cards on my top 10 rankings last week, which nope, they weren't even in my top 10. The Dolphins were at 10, but the convincing wins that they had against the Rams and Tua's first game as the starting quarterback. I know he didn't do too much, but with the little that he needed to do, plus they didn't really need him to do too much either. Just by how convincingly the Rams had lost to the Dolphins. That was part of it, and then the head-to-head against the Cards. But as you said, so far, if it's going by quarterbacks and strength of schedule, yeah, you can have the Cards over the Finns, but um, just those two games in particular, especially since Fitzpatrick was playing for was the starting quarterback before Tua came into action. I feel like just the Finns, they probably needed a little bit more respect, and as well as the Cards, because I was giving not much respect to the Cards, especially having the Seahawks above them, even though they already beat the Seahawks. I think it was back in week 3. But you can go ahead, Spence, with your top 10.
All right. Sure. All right. So for me, it's kind of a mixture of everybody's, just a little bit.
Okay.
Number one, I got the Steelers. Number 2, I got the Chiefs. 3, I got Saints. 4, I got Bucks. Number 5, I have Packers. 6, I'm going to give it to the Cardinals. 7, I'm going with the Finns. 8, I'm going Ravens. 9, I'm going Seahawks. And 10. Wait, where I put the Bills at? I'm sorry.
No, you didn't put the Bills.
Okay, so no, okay, this is what happened. It should be 6 Cards, 7 Dolphins, 8 Bills, 9 Ravens, 10 Seahawks. There it is.
Gotcha.
Okay. I was gonna say, looks like we all have the Ravens at 8.
Yeah, just about. I mean, that loss has to. They had to drop a little bit. Seattle too. Seattle's barely holding on to a top 10 spot right now. It's not Russell. It's not all on Russell because, like, he's not like he's playing bad, I guess, by his standards. But like, if you look at his numbers the past couple weeks, like they're average QB games, like. But because we're talking about him being in the MVP race and him being Russell Wilson, yeah, by his standards, yes, he's had bad games. But if you compare his numbers to other QBs in the league, he hasn't really played necessarily like horrible.
That's going back to that point that you made earlier about certain quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, when their bad games might be overlooked. It's just something that we as fans, we look at it and we're like, oh, Patrick Mahomes didn't have really a good game. But if you compare his numbers to, I don't know, Trubisky or whoever, like you'll be like, oh, you know what? It's actually not that bad. But
right, we kind of hark on them because they're not doing Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson like things that particular week. So it's like, oh, he's horrible, or what happened to Russell Wilson? But it's like, and realistically, like if you go compare it to other people, it's like he's all right. He's still all right. Now, as far as him being an MVP conversation, I think if he's still in it, he's barely in it at this point. Like I think
he's at 5.
Yeah, I think Kyler has jumped him at this point.
Yeah, I think honestly, Kyler is probably, if not the front runner, he's definitely up there because, and as I told you the last podcast, every season we see this, like, I just forgot his name. Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
He gets to a hot start, and it's not always, just saying it's his fault, but it's also the team, which is ultimately who the winner usually, who is the winner at the end of the season. We usually dictate that by team success as well. So, yeah, it's looking like Kyler Murray's potentially going to run away with this, but Russell Wilson may slip out of his hands once again, back to back years. So.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad because, like you said, it's kind of like he has to do so much to combat what the defense isn't doing, and that's where I think he's starting to he's thrown more interceptions the past like 2 to 3 weeks than he has all season, and I think that's more so what's happening. It's like he's trying to combat or make up for the defense's mistakes, and in turn, it's like it's one thing if I can go out there on offense and I can just play my game, but now it's like, oh, we just gave him a touchdown. I gotta make a play. I gotta make a play. It's like it's added pressure on him. Plus, you're hearing the rumblings that you're in the MVP conversation. I know a lot of players like to say that they don't pay attention to that, but they pay attention to that. Yeah. So he knows he wants to go out there and try the ball, and it's like I think he's trying to. At this point, I think he's trying to do too much more than letting the game come to him naturally, like he was doing at the beginning of the year, before he had like the expectation. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that defense. If they somehow still win the division, I don't know. They're a candidate to have somebody walk in there and beat them at home. Honestly, at this point, I don't have any faith in that defense.
We also
last thing.
What's that?
I said the last thing I'll say is that, like I told y'all, that defense is going to cost Russell Wilson an MVP.
You said that last week. You're right. It's looking that way.
We also seen some trouble in paradise. DK and Russ seem to have a little disagreement, so hopefully they can bounce back and get things
when you get locked up, out there. I mean, Ramsey
had a chance. He overshot it. He undershot it.
There was a few there was an interception that Russell threw where he threw it to, obviously he threw an interception, but DK was wide open in the flats where, he could have got the first down and more, but yeah.
That's typical receivers stuff.
Yeah.
For the most part.
That stardom is starting to get to his head. So hopefully he doesn't let it
Baby Braun.
Yeah.